The gloomy ruins of Reculver Towers, standing tall against the windswept skies of East Kent, are one of the region's most iconic landmarks. For centuries, they have marked the beginning and end of some lovely scenic walking routes, drawing thousands to their haunting beauty each year. But as the curious wander past these ancient stones, how many pause to consider the darker side of this ancient site? How many know the secrets that linger here beneath this historic, crumbling facade?
Obviously, I come to film a spooky video about some spooky towers, and it's the first absolutely beautiful day in like months. Seeing as it doesn't look like the weather's going to turn anytime soon, I'm just going to have to make this spooky somehow.
This place, once a thriving religious centre, is steeped in tales of devotion, destruction, and defence. Perched on the edge of the Kent coast, this place has stood as both a spiritual refuge and a defensive outpost for hundreds of years. But its story does not begin or end there. Far older than the ruins we see here today, Reculver's past stretches back thousands of years. And within that ancient history are tales so chilling, so dark. There are some who claim that they have left a permanent echo on the landscape. There are some who claim that the memories of those awful occurrences echo across this otherwise picturesque coastline. This is the story of the infamous Wailing Baby of Reculver.
Right, can't really say anything that spooky has happened yet. But I did find some tiny graves. Something a little spooky did just happen. Not quite what I expected. Just walking around the ruins, and it's just a random woman, just a random middle-aged woman standing right behind a wall, just kind of smiling to herself. Didn't seem to be any reason for her to be there. Maybe it's just the people here. Maybe the people are just weird. What's also making this slightly less spooky is the fact that because it's really nice today, there's loads of people here. It's going to be a little hard to listen for a wailing baby when there's a play area just down the road that's literally full of children. Don't really think it's in my skill set to discern the ghostly cries from the actual children here.
When the Romans arrived in Britain in 43 AD, their conquest brought with it the establishment of strategic outposts across the land. Among those was Reculver, a position that stood out for its commanding place on the Kent coastline. Initially, here is where they built a small fortlet, the ruins of which can still be traced among the grass and stone today. But while the remains of this Roman fort stand alone as a testament to the centuries of history, they are also the setting for some of Reculver's darkest tales. Because you see, the Romans brought more than their military expertise to Reculver. They also brought their customs, their beliefs, and it is thought, their sacrificial tendencies. According to legend, and take note, that's according to legend, not history. So this is just some kind of made-up bullshit. An event took place during this building's construction that would forever haunt the coastline. It is said that during the construction of these towers, a sacrifice was required. A sacrifice to ensure a strong and long defense of this newly obtained coastline. And what is it that the gods love to have sacrificed most of all? The innocent and unblemished, those new to this world, untouched by sin. During excavation work at Reculver, a disturbing discovery was made. The remains of around 10 infants were discovered, their remains dating back to around the Roman period. The bodies of some of these infants appear to have been buried inside the walls. A baby's feeding bottle was found within 10 feet of one of the tiny skeletons.
Well, yet to see any actual babies in the walls, but I have found these rather curiously baby-shaped holes. I mean, you could fit like 4 or 5 babies in this one. There are baby holes all over this place. I mean, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of local babies sneaking up here in the middle of the night, hiding themselves away in the walls and screaming their heads off just to start some kind of cool local ghost story.
After further study, historians and archaeologists believe these 10 infants to be the victims of ritual sacrifice. Their young lives taken to appease the Roman gods, the nature of their burials pointing to a darker ceremonial purpose. They'd uncovered an unsettling, disturbing glimpse into a darker past. And those horrors committed at this Roman fort have left an indelible mark on this stretch of coastline. Generations of locals have reported eerie phenomena tied to this place, phenomena that refuses to fade with time. It is said that on stormy nights when the wind howls and the sea churns with fury, the shrieks of a panicked infant can be heard echoing from the towers. Many have heard these cries, but none have ever seen the child who makes them.
Just found some potential ectoplasm. Just noticed a bunch of bird boxes or pigeon nests up in the towers. Crying pigeons sound a bit like a crying baby. I'll see if I can find some pigeon sound we can compare. I mean, to be fair, I was going to do a whole bit about how, it's clearly just the wind. It's not actually that windy here at the moment. Nah. I mean, what I am noticing are there are a lot of birds around here, so if it's not the wind, it could just be seagulls. There's one guy here who is he's just refusing to leave. I don't really want to talk to him because he might be, he might be a fellow ghost hunter. We're all a bit weird. It's actually just really peaceful here. Not really picking up any bad vibes. And sure, you might say, all right, Tom, you're not picking up any bad vibes. Why don't you try coming back at like 2 o'clock in the morning and then we'll see how you feel. I'm not going to be doing that. And not because I'm scared. Not because I think there's any, there's any truth to the wailing baby thing. I'd just rather be in bed, that's all.
The wailing infant is not the tower's only spectral inhabitant, though. What has been seen pacing the ruins at Reculver are 2 spectral hooded figures who, according to the tales, only appear in the moonlight and pace restlessly back and forth amongst the ruins. Local folklore claims that when these ghostly figures are approached, they vanish in an instant, and no clue to their identity or purpose has ever been discovered. But it's not a huge stretch to imagine that these hooded figures may be the ones responsible for our distressed child and our 10 infants found buried amongst the ruins. Perhaps they are damned to walk amongst their victims for all time.
You know what? As much as I don't believe in ghosts, there is that tiny ape brain part of me that does get a little bit nervous that if I spend too long in a place that's supposed to be haunted, just kind of taking the piss, that, you know, they will get me. So it'll just be a classic case of f*** around and find out. Alright, I literally just recorded that f*** around and find out part, and within seconds I've started being attacked by flying ants. They're literally everywhere. I guess the spirits are displeased. I'll say one thing. The towers aren't the only creepy buildings around here. I have no idea what these are. They look like public toilets in the middle of a field. Alright, where I'm standing now is apparently where the Roman fort was. Its remains are beneath me here, so I'm going to see if I can pick anything up. Yeah, nah. In conclusion, no ghosts, some creepy toilets, and otherwise it's just quite nice.
So, if you're planning a trip to the towers, you may want to make sure your trip is during daylight hours, unless of course you're looking to hear a wailing cry. After all, Reculver's history is as haunting as its beauty, and perhaps some stories are best left undisturbed. History never truly disappears, and here at Reculver, in the dead of night, it cries out to remind us. But obviously it's probably just the wind. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's spooky story, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.